So I spent the first 10 years of my career at John Lewis, and my last 2.5 years there were leading conversational commerce initiatives as a digital product manager. I then went on to work in Lebara, which if you don't know is a really awesome mobile phone network, and again, working in digital products, leading on their conversational AI, chatbot, and conversational commerce initiatives across 5 markets in Europe. But it's my work in conversational commerce that has really brought a deep passion to the subject for me. And so, like most people do when they become a bit obsessed with a subject, I started a blog and a podcast that is completely dedicated to conversational commerce and the technologies that empower it. Now, enough about me. I would love to know a bit more about you. I'd like to get a sense of your experience with conversational commerce. So please raise your hand if you'd consider yourself a bit of a pro at conversational commerce. So maybe you have worked extensively in this space or have a lot of knowledge in this area. Thank you. Please raise your hand if you'd consider yourself a bit of an intermediate in this area. So maybe you've been experimenting with conversational commerce, or maybe you just have a good grounded understanding of it. And hands up if you're a complete newbie in this area. So maybe this is your first time hearing about it, maybe you just know a basic amount about it. Fantastic, thank you very much. Well, the good thing is, regardless of your experience, I've got something for every single one of you in this talk today. We're going to be covering off what conversational commerce is, why you should be getting involved in it. I'm going to tell you about some real-world case studies with results, the benefits of conversational commerce, how you can start on the journey in this space, and some top tips for success. So, if you're still interested, let's begin. Does anybody know who this man is here by any chance? This is supposed to be really hard, because it kind of ruins the talk if you do. I thought your hand went up then. I was about just a scratch. It was going to come to you. So this is Jay Lathrop, and we all owe him a heck of a lot, and he's going to help us today with a valuable lesson. And this next to him is, of course, the microscope. Does anybody know what this is, by any chance? No? So this machine is an extreme ultraviolet lithography machine, and what it essentially does is print microchips. This took several decades and tens of billions of dollars to create. The latest model, just one of them, will set you back around 380 million US dollars, and it's made up of exactly 457,329 parts. But what has Jay, a microscope, and a $380 million machine got to do with conversational commerce? You're going to have to find out a bit later. So let's start from the beginning. What is conversational commerce? So in terms of a definition, I would put it as it's the buying and selling of products, goods, and services through technology-powered dialogues between individuals, groups, and businesses. It's the fusion of technology with conversations to drive commerce. And these interactions aren't just confined to one channel, they're happening in lots of spaces, from live chats on websites to messaging applications like WhatsApp, through social media direct messaging on the likes of Instagram, video applications, and even through voice assistants like Alexa. At the core are technologies like chatbots, natural language processing, conversational AI, speech recognition. These tools are really revolutionizing how we can interact with our customers. And it's common to think of these tools and channels within the post-purchase world, right? We're used to that. So maybe we've purchased something online, hasn't turned up, it has turned up, but it's broken. We go onto a website to use a live chat to get a resolution. The real game changer here and the difference with conversational commerce is using these technologies to facilitate a sale. I want to bring this to life with several examples. The first is an example I worked on at John Lewis. So this all really started with a spark of curiosity for us. We're known as a business for fantastic customer service that's led by our staff in our stores. That's underpinned by expert product advice and amazing customer experience that they fulfill. So we kind of were a bit confused about, we didn't have this in our online world, on johnlewis.com. And so we thought we'd embark on a relatively simple experiment where we got about 5 of our staff members from our stores, sent them off home with a laptop, and then my team put a relatively simple live chat widget on our product pages of our technology assortment. So think of iPhones, laptops, microwaves, dishwashers. This chat widget was on those product pages, and users could click on that, They'd answer a couple of bot questions, and then when we knew they were a conversational commerce customer, we put them straight through to one of our experts. And the response to this from our customers was overwhelmingly positive. We had to quickly scale our team from 5 to over 40 members of staff, and we were chatting about all our assortment, so fashion, home, beauty, the rest of technology. The customers were so impressed that they could speak to an agent and a real-life human being and get an answer to their query that they had. A customer could literally chat about their next iPhone or a sofa they wanted to buy, all from the comfort from their iPhone while sitting on a sofa. Over 7 months of trialing in our electronics assortment, we spoke to 75,000 customers through this medium. And we were able to prove that by speaking to us, we could increase conversion by 7 percentage points, and we also increased revenue per visit by £39. My next example is Curry Shop Live, so quite similar to what we did at John Lewis, but using a different channel of conversation. So again, this is all conversational commerce, so their widget was on their product pages, but also their home pages, and you could click on that and then enter in a one-way video call with Curry staff directly from their stores. This is available to speak to about 60,000 different products and was available 24 hours a day. It was known at the time as one of the world's largest live commerce activations, and Currys was speaking to around 34,000 customers weekly via this channel. My third example is from Boat. So if you don't know Boat, it's one of the largest audio and wearable tech brands in India. And what they did is created a complete end-to-end commerce experience, all from within WhatsApp. So as you'll see here on their mobile website, there's a chat button with the WhatsApp logo. If you clicked on that as a user, you go straight through to their WhatsApp channel, and the chatbot will do pretty much everything you would expect. So it can talk to you about specifications of a product or answer your FAQs. But what it also has is inbuilt catalogs, and it has a checkout system that users can completely check out of. So as a user, you can completely get recommendations and complete that purchase all from within this company's WhatsApp channel. They've had over 500,000 conversations initiated in this way, and this now accounts for up to 3% of their total company's revenue. Imagine WhatsApp, 3% of it could be a completely different sales channel for you. So what are the benefits of conversational commerce? Why should you get involved in this area? So the benefits are quite literally endless. Depending on your sector and how you employ to choose conversational commerce initiatives, depending on your sector and how you employ conversational commerce, they can be very wide-ranging. But I've grouped these into 3 overarching benefits for you. The first is around driving business outcomes. Whether your outcome is to drive down costs, reduce return rates, or improve your bottom line, utilized correctly, conversational commerce will help you get there. The impact on an array of financial metrics is extremely clear. In 2025, global spending through conversational commerce is expected to reach around $290 billion US, and that's 7-fold what it was in 2021. The second benefit is around perfecting and personalizing the customer experience. It's not good enough to just provide personalized experiences anymore. It's 2024. Hyper-personalization is key across every touch point on your customer's journey. According to Deloitte, 80% of you customers are more likely to purchase from a brand who offers personalized experiences. Conversational commerce should be one fundamental element within your personalization strategy. To achieve this, you could be using chatbots with AI to provide powerful recommendations to your customers based on the knowledge you have of them, or even just using technology that allows you to interpret and respond in your customer's chosen language. And the third benefit of this is be where your customers already are. For me, this is one of the simplest and clearest benefits. WhatsApp, with 2.4 billion users, is the world's most popular messaging application. Your customers are here, quite literally billions of them, and you have an opportunity to exist in a world where they do, and where they talk so frequently to their friends. Imagine what that would mean for your business. Remember, conversation is one of the most natural user interfaces out there. So indeed, it's a no-brainer, not just for these to be present on your channel, but for them to be a key part of your digital transformation. I'd like now to speak about how you can start on a journey into conversational commerce and what that will look like. But first, Jay's back, so let's finish off our story. So what have Jay, the microscope, and the $380 million EUV machine got to do with conversational commerce? So Jay Lathrop worked at a US government lab where he was essentially tasked with miniaturizing transistors for use in semiconductors, otherwise known as microchips. Whilst looking through a microscope one day in his lab, he had an idea. He thought a microscope lens could take something small and make it look bigger. If you turned the microscope upside down, the lens would take something big and make it look smaller. So what he did next is he got a block of material, covered it with a chemical that would disappear when exposed to light. He then turned his microscope upside down, put a pattern over the top of it, and shone a light through. And the result was him printing a pattern on this block. And what this led to him realizing is that he could essentially print tiny wires using light. And this led further down the lines, decades later, for the advent of extreme ultraviolet lithography machines. They use extremely short wavelengths of light to etch incredibly fine patterns on silicon wafers, creating computer chips. A typical smartphone processor, which we all have in our pockets right now, will contain around 10 billion microscopic transistors that the idea from Lathrop originated from, simply by turning around his microscope. And here lies a fundamental lesson for us. It's all about the small steps. Jay never imagined the evolution to this machine, but without his one small step, maybe we would never have made it. And just like we did at John Lewis, I'll be the first to say that nothing we did was technically that revolutionary. It was quite simple. It probably could have been done 15 years ago. We just looked at the problem with a different, more simple solution. And I think this is especially prudent in the age of AI right now. Everyone is rushing, wanting to spend millions on the latest conversational AI. The mission isn't AI. The mission is solving your customers' and businesses' problems. So with small steps in mind, we've defined a journey that's defined by your customers for you to embark in conversational commerce. So this should always start with your customers, not a directive from an executive at your company. You need to develop an extremely deep understanding of them, that what are their pain points, their needs, wants, their desires. And once you fully understand this, then assess how conversational technologies can play their part. And sometimes they won't, and that's okay. This talk is not about a mandate for conversational commerce, it's just presenting an opportunity which you may wish to explore. And when you've done this, you will then design an intuitive user experience from the ground up, and you can then prototype this with real customers. And then experiment, go live with a subset of customers using different testing methodologies to truly understand its impact. And then when you've done this and gathered more learnings, iterate that further, and then when you're confident, launch, scale quickly, and always remember to continue to iterate your proposition. Now we're nearly over, but I want to leave you some tips for success as you embark on this journey. So the first is, humans are still valuable and essential. Few. We're still needed. Never underestimate the power of your human team. They're not just your front line, they're your innovators and they're your testers. Your agents in your contact centers, your staff in your stores, they provide you invaluable insights into your customers' preferences and pain points. And if you are using AI, well, humans are still needed. They provide a safety net for your customers, and through a human in the loop, they provide constant training and monitoring to the AI. And the human element in this should never be underestimated. Tip number 2 is technology choice is critical. The foundation of your conversational commerce initiative lies on you selecting the right technology platform, one that not only meets your needs today, but also develops with you as you go into the future. Your decision transcends the technology itself. You want to align yourself with somebody who's leading and innovating in this space, not one who's playing catch up. You want to be with somebody who is compatible with your technical ecosystem, because integrations that are seamless are paramount. And you also want somebody who's financially stable. We've had a lot of investment in this space over the last couple of years, and there's probably a bit of a bubble growing that may burst one day, and you don't want to be on the wrong side of that. And finally, you're after a cultural fit, a potential partner for the long term. And I've used an interesting choice of words throughout this tip. I've kept saying partner, not supplier, because there's a very key difference for me. A supplier is somebody who you're going to pay an awful lot of money to and get their technology platform. With a partner, a strategic partner, You're still going to pay an awful lot of money. There's no getting away from that at all. But you're going to get so much more than just a technology platform. You're going to get somebody who's been through this before, who has the learnings of doing this with smaller companies, larger companies. You're going to want somebody that pushes you to think in different directions, and even somebody who says no to you and your ideas sometimes. And my third and final tip is design your solution like you would a banana. Now, please bear with me on this one, because its design is too often overlooked. Technology gets all the attention. The design of a banana is not just yellow, it's that it's got a sophisticated coloring system that indicates the ripeness and therefore flavor of this fruit. Design is that it's got a hygienic cover, meaning it never needs washing and it's completely free of germs. And design is it's the perfect shape and size to fit in one's hand and has a primary and secondary opening device. It's not just about the exterior on a banana. Every aspect serves a design purpose. And this is just as important when you design your conversational commerce initiative. So for example, if you were building a chatbot to sell more on your website, design isn't just about what you're naming your chatbot or about the colors of your widget. It's so much more than that. It's about crafting an intuitive, seamless user experience from the ground up, considering the flow of every single step, the placement of those, the choice of interactive elements, whether it be text fields or buttons or coins, the tone and personality that your chatbot portrays to your customers. Give design the focus, priority, and investment it needs, and design like a banana. I just want to say thank you very much all for listening today. I really enjoyed this talk. If you've liked this and would want to know more, drop me a follow on LinkedIn, and you can also follow the chit chat. It's a bit of shameless self-promotion here. And I'll be really happy to take any questions you may have. Thank you very much. Any questions? Yeah? I think there's a microphone coming. Yeah.
Hello. So I think it's quite general, all the things you mentioned regarding the conversational commerce. But what about the technology side? I mean, you mentioned it's critical, but how to choose the technology for implementing the conversational commerce?
Yes, I think it's along the steps that I showed in this. So I've got to go a long way back. I think it's interesting, the technology isn't the first decision that you make and should never be. It's your customer and the pain point and the problem you're trying to solve. Once you've got that, you then design your solution, whatever that may be. And like I've said before, sometimes there might not be a solution for what you're trying to do. And only then, once you have your solution, you then think about the technology. So if you're thinking of going into space, I wouldn't actually even think of the technology to begin with. There's so much work to do. And your risk of failure, if you start going in with just the technology, is so much greater than if you start with your customers.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions? No? Okay, well thank you very much everybody, and enjoy the rest of today. Goodbye.